What's good with the YouTube? You already know. Real Talk with Flacco coming live and direct. And on this platform, what do? We dive into sensitive issues, delicate matters concerning prison, gangs, community, recidivism, as well as addiction. And as you can tell, man, we have a kind of like a little breaking exclusive here, man. Donald Popeye Mazza, a well-known Aryan Brotherhood member, as well as he's also the co-founder of the Peni, Public Enemy Number One, a skinhead faction down in Southern California. Um, he pled guilty to racketeering and conspiracy charges. Now, there's a whole lot of allegations, man. He's one of the second ones to take a deal in this big case. As you already know, Ronald Yandel's on this case and several other AB members, man. And it's a multitude of different crimes that are being alleged against the Aryan Brotherhood. Now, the individual he conspired to kill, right, that they tried to get him through was some dude named Michael Thumper Tripp. Okay, now what's ironic about this situation, man, Tripp never got killed, right? But he wrote a letter on behalf of Popeye, okay? At that time, the federal government made a deal, and what they ended up electing to do was they gave Popeye, a certain amount of time, the lower end time for conspiracy charges and racketeering charges, if he admitted that he had conspired with the Aryan Brotherhood to kill Tripp out of fear for his life from the Aryan Brotherhood. Now, in September of 2021, Popeye just disappeared from the Sacramento County Jail, as well as an individual, I believe his name was Brian Burhope. And see, that's typical of the feds, right? Once you start cooperating and agree to work hand in hand with the feds and make a deal, they start to move you to different facilities. You know what I'm saying? As well as the feds can move you at any time. Once you're sentenced to the feds, they have this thing where they start to send you from different county jail to county jail before they get you to a federal facility. Sometimes they do that just to fuck with you. So you could be sitting there in Fresno, and next thing you know, you're in San Bernardino, Orange County, or whatnot, and they can legally do it. It's a trip. So, this case is pretty self-explicit, man. When you have indictments like you currently have with the NF and other groups, you're going to have people who are going to flip. They're going to tell. There's no way around it. You know what I'm saying? It's been traditional. This individual's been around for a minute, though, Popeye. You know what I'm saying? As you probably heard from some of the stories that Powder was talking about. So I guess in his mindset was that they pretty much had a rap on him. Now, this is the first time I've seen in a long time that one of the Aryan factions, ABs, get indicted. I think the last time they got indicted was when all that stuff was going on over there with the dogs and so forth, the lawyers, so they've kind of been able to fly under the radar because most of these prison organizations are usually going to be the NF and MA that they focus on. The Aryan Brotherhood is very vicious, but at the same time, they're low in numbers. But they kind of changed the direction and course of how they operate. And it was a smart move. They started to build discipline. They started to have rules and reg laws, and they aligned all these different white factions, you know what I'm saying, to be under the AB's umbrella. Now, there's a few sets that went against the AB a little bit, and they formed their own alliance, like the Wolf Packs. I think the Warrior Skinheads did, and I forgot what the other faction is, man. But, when you become a powerful group, and you're like this low in numbers, but you're powerful, and you have influence, there's always going to be those that are going to reject you and try to challenge your power. It's the criminal way of thinking. You know what I'm saying? How can I maneuver and put myself in a position to where I can help myself? And that's what it comes down to, man. And, apparently Popeye, he was tired of it. He made his choice. The choice is his, but he'd been a long, respected Aryan Brotherhood member for, I think, at least like 12 years, maybe longer. But before that, he was pushing that P9 on a hard level, man. Then P9s basically became like the next NLRs. For a while, the NLR were doing a lot of bidding for the AB, and then they had the split up there in the Bay based upon the fact that a lot of people did not want to stand with the brand. They wanted to go against the brand. They wanted the NLR to be its own entity. And that happened when the validation process started around 98, 99. They started slamming all the NLRs and giving them validation packets. And next you know, they're housed up in the Bay. And a lot of the NLR members that were complying, they were hanging them up in the cell. That's the AB's trademark. Now, Donald Popeye Mazza, like I said, he was a co-founder of the P9 Skinheads. And apparently they had, conspired to kill an individual named Michael Thumper Tripp, who was also another high-ranking member within the Aryan Brotherhood. Now, Popeye was pulled as an AB, man. And see, this is exactly what I was telling people that was occurring within the system about 20 years ago. What the AB did was they had a smart plan They had started to lose control over some of the footholds that they previously had, as far as behind the walls. And what they started to do is they started to recruit certain members that were from these small cliques and recruit them as AB members. Therefore, not only did they have a brother that was part of the brand, but now they had control of this whole faction. And that's why the P9 skin out. So the one thing that sucks about this, right, man, is that when you get these type of charges, right, and then you have to go in front of a court and you plead guilty, you have to admit to everything that they're charging you with that you pled guilty to. You have to sit there and say, okay, yeah, I was a gang member. Yeah, I dropped out. This is what happened over here. This dude got killed over there. You have to disclose everything. You know what I'm saying? Because if there's a little bit of hesitant as far as information, from my understanding, it's gonna cast a black cloud over anywhere you go. You know what I'm saying? And this is the way of the life, though, man. If you really want to live this life, look at the results that you see over and over and over again. I mean, we're showing you indictments like once a week, twice a week sometimes. New caseloads, tons of guns being took off the streets, ghost guns, dope, all that. All that stuff plays in the factor out there in the streets, man. That's the reality of it. Either you're with it, with the shit, or you're with the bullshit. And that's just plain and simple how it's always supposed to be. You know what I mean? It's not about recognition or whatnot. These vatos, right? These brand members rather have their respect, their recognition. Of course, everybody likes money, but when you have respect and recognition, money's going to come into play later. Those are facts. And I want to really find out a little bit more about the AB as far as out there in the Gaias, because I know they function out there, but how do they operate? Do they have crews? Do they have contacts with each other? Or do you go out there on your own merit and establish your own resources? See, there's different things that you can look at when it comes to this type of scenario. It still shocks me all the shit that be going on nowadays, man. Like, none of this shit was going on when I was still out there in the mix, man. It's just getting worse and worse, you know what I mean? But anyways, it's your boy Flaco coming live and direct. You already know, a rato.